Everybody thought Drake was finished. Not finished commercially, not finished statistically, but finished culturally. After the Kendrick Lamar battle, the internet completely shifted around him. For the first time in over a decade, Drake looked vulnerable. Memes replaced dominance, every post became a joke, every lyric became evidence, and every move he made started getting analyzed like he was fighting for survival instead of just dropping music. That's why ICEMAN feels so different. This doesn't sound like the Drake from Certified Lover Boy or even Her Loss. This album sounds colder, darker, quieter, and way more paranoid, like somebody who spent months reading every tweet, every headline, and every betrayal narrative online. And that's the dark truth about ICEMAN. It's not really an album about Kendrick Lamar. It's an album about what happened to Drake after Kendrick Lamar. Because if you really listen carefully, the entire project feels emotionally isolated. Drake barely sounds celebratory anymore. Even on the harder songs, there's tension underneath everything. The production feels frozen, the bars sound defensive, and there's this constant obsession with loyalty, fake friends, industry politics, and people secretly switching sides. That's not accidental. For years, Drake's biggest strength was control. He controlled the charts, the trends, the memes, and the sound of mainstream rap itself. But after the beef, for the first time, it felt like the internet stopped moving with him automatically, and ICEMAN sounds like Drake realizing that in real time. Even the title tells the story. ICEMAN. Cold, emotionless, untouchable. That the image Drake is trying to rebuild because after the Kendrick battle, people stopped seeing him as the untouchable superstar and started seeing him as somebody emotionally exposed. Instead of directly responding to that feeling, ICEMAN turns it into an aesthetic. It's almost like he's trying to freeze himself emotionally before the internet can hurt him again. And honestly, that's what makes this album so interesting. Not because it's perfect, not because every song is amazing, but because this might be the most psychologically revealing Drake project we've ever gotten. Most artists respond to controversy by becoming louder, but Drake responded by becoming colder. Even the way he talks about relationships feels different now. There's less excitement, less romance, less ego. Everything feels temporary, suspicious, transactional. Almost every emotional moment on ICEMAN circles back to distrust, somehow friends switching sides, women moving differently, the industry watching him fail, fans turning into critics overnight. There's a bitterness here that Drake usually hides behind humor flexing, but on ICEMAN he barely hides it at all. That's why the internet is so divided on this project. Some fans hear honesty while others hear insecurity. Some people think this is Drake evolving while others think this is Drake spiraling in high definition. But either way, people are talking about him again, and that might actually be the point. Because Drake has always understood something better than almost every rapper alive: attention is power, even negative attention. As long as the conversation stays centered around Drake, he still controls the room. And ICEMAN feels engineered for conversation. Every suspicious lyric, every possible subliminal, every celebrity reference feels designed to keep the internet decoding him nonstop. That's why reaction channels are exploding, TikTok clips keep going viral, and fans are dissecting bars frame by frame like conspiracy theories. Because ICEMAN isn't just music, it's reputation management through atmosphere. And honestly, that's genius, but it's also kind of sad, because underneath all the icy production and calculated coolness, ICEMAN sounds like an artist trying to convince himself he's still untouchable. That's the dark truth. This album isn't Drake celebrating victory, it's Drake rebuilding identity, and depending on how you hear the project, that either makes ICEMAN his most human album ever or his most fragile.